Hello and welcome to another Duel Commander match here on Duelcaster Tyler here. I'm running Taigam Ojutai Master today. This is a really exciting new commander from 2017. You can see it there. It's kind of a tempo deck focused around bouncing their spells to their hand or back to their library. Opponents on Selvala, Heart of the Wilds, come mono green, usually a combo deck of sorts, but it could just be a value deck, often with cards like Phyrexian Dreadnought to just go off and draw a bunch of cards, add a bunch of mana to the mana pool, and so on and so forth, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand here. I only have one blue, but I have some card draw. I have Lightning Reefs for Taigam, which is nice. Opponent leads off with Skull Clamp, which is really dangerous, but just play out the Lightning Greaves. He draws his mana elf a little bit late. I draw a Fellwar Stone, so I realize I can go Stone plus Chart a Course and have to discard here. Think for a while, but decide to just get rid of the worst card at the moment, which is Maze of Ith. Alright, my opponent plays their commander, but is not equipped Skull Clamp, interestingly, so I wonder what they might have. I finally have the mana to cast my commander, Taigam, and just need to maybe play around what he could have for a single green, but can't think of anything. Mono green can't really disrupt Taigam too much. So I run him out there. I actually draw a card because he is the highest power at the time, which is really nice. Off of Selvala. Attack, post-combat main. I play Brainstorm in order to get it rebounding on my next upkeep. So here I have to put two cards back. I just put a land and a mana source back. And I luckily drew card Submerge, which is really amazing, and especially in this matchup, because it's just straight up free against the green opponent. You can put a creature from play on top of their, back on top of their library, kind of like a Griptide or what have you. So I get to Submerge Selvala. He casts Worldly Tutor in response, so I guess that's what he was leaving his screen open for. And let's see what he grabs. In the meantime, I draw this cool card, Migratory Route, which is a new one for Commander 2017 too, which is a nice win condition / way to get out of mana screw. But my opponent ends up getting Great Sable Stag after some tanking, which makes sense. It's a 3/3, can't be countered in pro blue, so it could block Taigam pretty well. So after resolving all these spells in the stack here, I also decide to go back and forth of whether to play Gush, because I kind of wanted to capsize next turn, but I figure because he has Great Sable Stag plus Skull Clamp, he's going to have a better blocker, so if I want to draw the extra 2 cards from Rebound, I might as well just do it right away. So my opponent plays the Stag, and then he clamps his own mana elf to avoid it being submerged, which makes sense. But he does not re-equip Skull Clamp to Sable Stag, and I don't know quite why he does that. So Submerge has no targets. I get to Brainstorm again. I just have plenty of lands I can get rid of. Back to the top of the library, which I'll then draw off of Gush. At this point I have 10 cards in my hand, 11 cards. Draw a really cool card, again new card from 2017, Fractured Identity. Don't have enough mana to play it this turn, but the fact that it's a sorcery and not like an enchantment is really nice. With Taigam, I also have Valorous Stance, which can be used to save Taigam or kill a creature. So both of those are really nice. I'm a little cramped on mana here, especially blue mana. I only have one blue source because of the Gush from last turn, but I can attack into Sable Stag because he did not equip Skull Clamp. So this allows me to get a free rebound. However, I have nothing really that great to rebound. I don't want to just blow off there's no point in blowing off the Valorous Stance or anything like that, so I just pass the turn with Valorous Stance up, although I can't target Taigam, but Taigam's got Shroud anyway, so from the Grieve, so it's not that big a deal. My opponent plays a Karametra's Acolyte, which is a 1/4 that taps for mana equal to your devotion to green. And since I have mana open and a bunch of other things to do, I decided to just snap off Valorous Stance on that thing to kill it. Alright, next turn I draw Misty Rainforest, attack, and kind of tank here a little bit. I could Wrath to get rid of the Sable Stick, but I don't think it's really worth it, so I just play Migratory Route to get the 4 birds. You can see those beautiful new bird tokens there. Because I want to just put a lot of pressure on him and try to kill him as fast as possible. So now he plays Raphalos and finally equips Skullclamp to Great Sable Stag, which is threatening my Taigam. I get a rebounded copy of Migratory Route to go up to 8 birds, draw Force of Will, which really makes me feel like I have this game locked down now. So I can't really see my screen too well because I have so many tokens, but Crusty for an island and decide to attack with everything except Taigam. He would just get eaten by a Great Sable Stag. And I could have attacked with Taigam, capsize like the Skull Clamp before blocks, and that would let me rebound it, but I decided to just capsize Raphalos because I really want to capsize Raphalos, not a Skull Clamp. That's not very useful by itself. It's kind of just spinning my wheels. My opponent goes Court of Calling for 2 in response to capsizing Raphalos. I decide to Force of Will that because I'm afraid, I don't know, he could have something like a Sylvan Safekeeper or something like that, and that would be bad. I don't want him to get 10 mana with Raphalos and play an Eldrazi or something. So my opponent recasts Raphalos, then casts Eternal Witness, getting back Worldly Tutor. So he's starting to have a board presence, although I have 8 1/1 flyers now. So that's going to end the game really quick. My opponent's at 13 at this point, so I can't quite kill him this turn. But I attack with all my birds. Once again, Taigam, not worth it to attack with him. I play out my Core Haven, and then once again capsize Raphalos with buyback just to avoid any really dangerous, expensive spells from coming out. Got two Wraths in my hand as backup. At this point, my opponent recasts Worldly Tutor for a Thragtusk. You can see it there. Old Thraggy, classic. I'm pretty happy though because that's just keeping him alive. That's nothing messing up my own game plan. So at this point, he realizes the writing on the wall and scoops it up. So that game pretty much went exactly as I'd hoped. A Taigam match or game to go rather. Get to rebound a lot of spells, get just an insane amount of value off of bouncing things, making extra tokens, drawing extra cards. Alright, I keep this hand. Got a couple cantrips, a couple nice cheap interactive spells, and Azorius Charm, Shelter, Unexpectedly Absent. Got mana rocks are great in this deck, like Talisman of Progress. You get Taigam on a turn earlier. Unexpectedly Absent is an amazing card, especially being an instant lets you play it during the Declare Attacker step, which is much more useful than going out there end of turn or something because of Taigam's ability. Shelter, not only can it allow Taigam to go through blockers, but it can protect him from removal. And finally, Azorius Charm is just a good value card. At the very least, you can cycle it to draw a card. Well, I draw a Force of Will a turn after he plays Selvala, which is unfortunate, but I can still play Unexpectedly Absent on Selvala, on his turn 2 Selvala, which is really nice. To deny him a draw step. He puts it back on top of his library, and at this point, I can Force of Will it. Pitching Azorius Charm, just because it seemed like it wasn't as relevant of a card. Here I go, Talisman into Runechanter Spike, which is a really nice one with Taigam. You can often get 5, 6, 7, 8 instants of sorceries in your graveyard easily with how many cantrips and stuff are in the deck. So, and it lets Taigam blow through blockers pretty effectively. Right, my opponent stuck on 2 fronts. So I just play Taigam and pass the turn. Even though I don't have Shelter up, I figure a mono green deck can't do a whole lot. If he plays an Aura and Taigam, like a Song of the Dryads, I can give it Shelter and have it fall off. My opponent plays an Obstinate Baloth, which is kind of annoying, but since I have Runechanter's Pike, it's really not that big a deal. I can just attack with a 6/4 first striking Taigam with no good blocks on my opponent's part. I ponder into some amazing cards, so I'm definitely keeping these on top. I actually clicked the cards in the wrong order, ending up with Time Warp in my hand, although I wanted Azorius Signet would be the Signet would have been a better card to play out because I could have kept Shelter up the same turn. My opponent once again has Worldly Tutor at the end of my turn, so he goes and tutors up a Woodland Bellower. Nice card there. Lets him get a non-legendary green creature with converted mana cost 3 or less, as you can see when it enters the battlefield. So, not surprisingly, he gets Reclamation Sage, probably the most common card fetched by Woodland Bellower. So that takes out my Runechanter's Pike, meaning don't have a clean attack with Taigam anymore. I see those other 2 cards off the Rebounded Ponder. I decided to keep them once again and think a little bit about whether to attack with Taigam to get the card off of Shelter. And here I actually mess up because I skip past declare blockers, where I meant to use Shelter during the declare attacker step, so I would able to get 3 damage in. But either way, I get to save Taigam, which I figure I was worth it because I get to draw a card off Shelter and rebound my Wrath of God now. So the Wrath of God having rebound means he can't really play a creature on his turn. Although he's kind of out of cards. Shelter doesn't really work well when there's no creatures because it just fizzles, but and the Wrath doesn't do anything. But now I have 6 mana. I can play a Signet, a Spellskite, and a Council's Judgment to take out Birthing Pod, because I figure that's going to be annoying. Next turn I recast Taigam after my opponent plays a Tireless Tracker, and say go with Spellskite protection up. My opponent rips a land, which is nice, so he gets a counter and a clue. Draws Wall of Roots. On my turn, I attack with Taigam. He's a 4/3 Tireless Tracker, which he blocks with, but I have Iganjo Castle to prevent 2 damage to Taigam, which is really nice. And now I have just enough mana over to play Time Warp to get 2 extra turns, and my opponent has had enough and concedes at that point. So yeah, pretty nice match to showcase what Taigam's capable of doing. I mean, I played Time Warp effects, card draw, bounce spells, cantrips like Ponder. It's just really fun to be able to get so much value out of those spells, and the opponent thinks they stabilize or have a good blocker, and they just crumble under your interaction. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hey everyone, Tyler from Duelcaster here. If you enjoyed the video you just watched and all the creative content we produce here, we'd be thrilled if you could share your support by liking this video, commenting on it, subscribing to our channel, and contributing to our Patreon. Just click on the links to the side here to help out. We want to take Duel Commander and all 1v1 Commander formats to the next level, and your support helps us keep producing awesome content. Thanks for watching, and see you later.